My wife was eating cereal for dinner because that's literally all we could have, where um, revenue came in and costs trailed, and you've got like $5 left over. And we did that for a very, very long time. In the end, I owned 100% of the company, had no debt, was cash flow positive, and we were on a $10 million run rate annualized. And the company came and bought me, which was phenomenal.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Pivotal Conversations. An absolute killer episode coming up. We are well and truly into Leadership Month. Today I'm joined by Tobi Skovron, who is the current CEO and founder of Creative Cubes, which is this amazing space that we're in right now. But I've been lucky enough for Tobi to be a mentor of mine, someone that I can lean on, conversations that I had every single week for quite a while now, and he is the epitome of a leader, in my eyes. He's someone who is completely humble, he's willing to hand the baton, and he's that kind of guy you just want to be around all the time. But outside of just being a great leader, he comes with a lot of wisdom and experience, being that he has grown a startup to selling 30 to 40 million units on Amazon, sold that company, and now is in another amazing company. And there's just a lot of lessons that you can learn from a guy like this on how to scale a business, how to be a great leader, how to be a great father, and they all do cross over, really, really closely. So yeah, as I said, guys, amazing episode coming up. Really hope you guys enjoy it. If you do enjoy the episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can listen to many more episodes, and we can keep getting absolute killers on the show, so we can create content and have conversations that really start to change your life and your circumstance as well. Really hope you enjoy the episode, guys, and we'll see you on the other side. I want to go to your first, not your first, but the startup, which was Perlu. And first of all, give people a bit of an insight into that business, how it started, how it come to fruition, and then we can kind of roll on from there.
Totally. So '03, I moved from Sydney to Melbourne, moved to a one-bedroom apartment, and first time out of home. And seeing my girlfriend at the time, she's now my wife and mother of my two kids, proudly, after 18 years. Can you believe she's put up with me for that long? Sim said, Tobes, we just need a patch of backyard on our balcony. And that was the eureka moment, man. The light went on in my head. I kind of like did like a 10-year sprint of like idea going off to where it kind of finishes. And then I was like, all right, day one, let's map it. And chip all the way up, yeah? So bought a dog for Sim, lived in a one-bedroom apartment. She said, Toes, we just need a patch of backyard on our balcony. And I'm not trained, I'm not educated. In fact, I dropped out of university. I did okay at school, wasn't really interested. I think school in reflection, and it's been 21 years, but I think on reflection, school failed me. I didn't fail school, yeah? They failed to understand the mindset of the individual. And because I didn't fit into that square hole, I was never going to amount to anything. Fast forward 10 years, Perlu, global success, like ragingly global success. The success was relative to what went into it, so it didn't just happen. I was poor, almost broke. My wife was eating cereal for dinner because that's literally all we could have, where revenue came in and costs trailed, and you've got like $5 left over. And we did that for a very, very long time. In the end, I owned 100% of the company, had no debt, was cash flow positive, and we were on a $10 million run rate annualized. And the company came and bought me, which was phenomenal. What I loved about that transaction was a bunch of different things. One, I was sort of free, most importantly. I was free to be able to do whatever I wanted to do. I remember waking up the next day, like having received my check and literally like was employed post transaction, but like took a week to just kind of calibrate and thaw out after 10 years of just crazy hustle. And I just remember like the plug just coming out.
You're right.
Whoops. The plug just coming out and just like sitting there like, oh, like what a marathon, yeah. And and then got it. So I loved the ability. I loved the freedom that it created. I was less interested in the money, to be honest, and I still am not interested in money. I actually don't like money. I think it brings out the wrong in people a lot more than the good. But I love freedom. That's what I'm here to play. And so that freedom was created off an idea that was created and developed and nurtured and tended to and like almost worshipped day in, day out, yeah? And the impact that we were having on a global scale with pet owners, from people that lived in apartments in the snow, in snowy climates, to people that live on boats that want to have their pets, and the elderly in hospices and hospitals, and people that just wanted to have a dog but just couldn't afford a big backyard for the dog to roll around in. So I loved what we were about. Our mission was to increase animal companionship, and we did that by selling dog toilets called Perlu. We made pee and poo sexy. But the grind was real. The grind was lonely. The grind was very isolating. People around me, like my family and my friends, really didn't understand. They loved me, and there's a lot of love, but they didn't understand the trials and tribulations of an entrepreneur. And so that sort of led me into leaving my spare bedroom to immersing myself into a collaborative community in Los Angeles, in Santa Monica, called ROC, Real Office Centers, which was the old Google HQ. When Google moved from Santa Monica to Venice, the guy came in and took over and converted it to a co-working space, which was super cool. And then I realized the power of community and being surrounded by like-minded quality people, and how that actually helps you level up every day.
Massively.
So, and that's, I guess that was so profound. And I finally feel like I found my family away from my family, because really, like, the reality, for me anyway, the reality is you're here hustling 12, 14, 16, 18 hours a day. Whether that's healthy or not is irrelevant. Like, we can talk about that later. But like, you're so into your craft and you're so into your business, and then you come home to your family and you get a different level, different lenses, different perspective, different things from your family that you don't get. Maybe some do. I didn't get on the entrepreneurial side. And so to be able to surround yourself with like-minded people all out there hustling, it's quite inspiring. And so I love that. I was addicted to it in the most professional and positive way. And so I decided, when I come home from Los Angeles to Australia, I'm going to develop that, because that really wasn't there for me as an entrepreneur on that journey. And so I'm sure there's a lot of other Tobi equivalents out there that are launching their own startups, and they've got this burning desire to do something for themselves. And I think community and the people that they surround themselves could make or break them. And so I want to try and enable success. And Creative Cubes today exists with its sole purpose to enable success. Let good people come into the spaces, let good people execute, let them focus on what they do best, and like literally my team and I will take care of everything else.
Just provide the environment, right? And manage it, and that's kind of the role.
It's more, yeah, very simplistically, yes. But reality is, when you're running a company, more often than not, you actually end up fading away from why you started the business in the first place to deal with shit.
Putting out fires.
Right? Lights, power, internet, dealing with this, printer ink, coffee in the fridge, like just shit that just take. So what the world has turned to is I'm hyper focused on my business. I'm hyper focused on building a team and executing a mission and our vision. I don't give a shit about my lights and internet and all the rest of it. That's a distraction. So ultimately, people have outsourced that, allows them just to plug and play and go and hustle. And so from that, that might save them an extra 2 hours a week of bullshit they don't have to deal with that goes into the business that helps them, over the course of a month. That's an extra 8 to 10, maybe more hours that they're getting productivity out. Times that by 12 months, times that by 3 to 5, 7, 10 years.
10 years.
Right? Boom.
So I want to go back, and I think this is important because I think like it's easy to look at, like an overnight success that took 10 years, that whole kind of saying, right? And I think like, you talked about grinding for 10 years. What were some of the things back then, throughout that 10 years that shaped you as a leader right now?
Yeah.
Like, because at the end of the day, like, I think that a lot of the time gets lost. And we deal with like a lot of business owners that are just coming straight in, like they're in their infancy. They've been in business for maybe 1 to 3 years. And like 10 years just seems like a hard slog. And I think the biggest mistake that can be made is that people look at like, business owners that have made it, that have, had some success, and then they're like, well, I want that now. So what were some of the things over that 10-year span that made you the leader you are now, the person that people see?
Yeah. So a couple things. It goes back to my roots. Yeah. I love basketball. I love everything about basketball. I love the athleticism. I love the camaraderie. I love the show. I love the craft. I love the fundamentals. And so in order to win championships, you have to have everything lined up properly and everyone dialed in. So really at a very, very, very young age, I got into really competitive basketball. I went and played in the US for a period of time, and really run my companies like a basketball team.
Yeah.
Fundamentally. Yeah. So I really draw my knowledge and inspiration from the basketball environment. I also draw a lot of culture from basketball, hip hop, R&B, and a lot of that is definitely not impregnated. It's like ingrained in who I am as a human being, and so I think that's my lens on everything. Yeah. So you look at Michael Jordan growing up as a kid and his competitiveness and his will to win. He didn't just show up. Yeah. He didn't just show up, the lights go on, and he sinks some hoops and walked away. It was no one's awake. I got to spend some time with the late Kobe Bryant when he was here in Melbourne, and he was telling me, Toby, I was on the track at 3:30 in the morning, right? Getting my laps in, building on my cardio, doing all of the stuff, and then go to practice. Yeah. So that mindset is my DNA. Yeah. It shaped me as a young kid, all the way. I'm now 41 this year. And so I lean on that. The next thing I lean on is the team aspect. The team, I'm not interested in individual sports. I'm not interested in being the hero on the squad. I'm actually happy and content in my own skin to sit on the bench if my teammates are lighting it up. Yeah. I don't hire good people to tell them what to do. I hire great talent so they can tell me what I need to know in order to be better. Yeah. And tell me what I need to do. And so I think that the most wonderful thing, if I can get as pretty as that in business, is enabling good, talented people to take on a piece of the bag, a corner of the bag, or whatever it is, and carry that themselves and put themselves in the business as well. And, many hands creates a light load. And so I don't need to be the hero on the squad. I'm very, very happy, and actually sometimes the biggest cheerleader on the team, because the talent I surround myself with is elite, and I'm really happy about that. I can get my points. I can play my important role on the team, but I'm also happy to come and sit on the bench. Some days you have your off days. I'm happy to sort of not suit up at all and give someone else an opportunity to take the lead. There's a lot of trust in that, but that's inherently who I am because of the environment that I grew up playing competitive basketball. You've got to trust the process. You've got to pass the ball to that person in the post if you think he's going to dominate his opponent, or kick it out to the wing to a sharpshooter. Like, I don't need to be scoring the 50 points every night to get us the win. I'll play my role and I'll lead, but it's important to understand when you can pass the ball, fade to the back, be out front, communicate. All those things come into running what I think is a successful business.
Yeah. The one thing that comes to mind when you say that is like knowing the moment. And like, I think that's the one thing that, if I'm going to be honest, like when I, and I notice you, and I kind of, this is just the type of person I am. Like, I look at how people behave, and that's like how I learn. Like, I don't look at what you say or listen to what you say. I do listen to what you say, but I more look at what you do, and that's how I learn. And the one thing that I've noticed about yourself is like your ability to actually let your team play their role.
Yep.
And like, instead of taking over, and that's probably one of the hardest things even for myself, is like being a leader of a company. It's like, what got me to where I am today is my hustle. And that's like, and I can lean on that whenever I need it.
Totally.
But knowing the moment, and in that moment, am I the right guy to be scoring right now? Or do I need to hand this off to someone?
Correct.
And that's like I reckon that's hands down the hardest thing.
It is, but it's the only way to scale. Yeah. So a lot of companies like, oh, we'll just rely on the technology to scale and our customers will have a great experience with that. That's a point in a business. You hear of some of these tech businesses where they've got millions, if not billions of users, and they're scaling. But when you're not in that environment, when you're not a tech business, how do you efficiently scale your business? And the reality is, Carl, like, today I sit as the CEO of Creative Cubes, proud co-founder with my teammates. There were two real fundamental important pieces for me. One, I didn't want to own the whole company by myself. I'm a team player. So I'm happy to dilute myself down to bring on the right talent to execute. I think I've done that exceptionally well because the talent that we have is out of this world, in my opinion. The next part of it is that when you give someone, not give, I don't like entitlement, but when you trust in someone's ability to go and execute, there's a whole new, forget about cap tables, there's a whole new level of ownership. Yeah. So some of the stuff that goes on here, you have Anna on communications. I started the business and I still sit today in the marketing seat as the CEO, but I'm also in the marketing seat. We are hiring at the moment, if anyone's out there, a marketing director. But I've got us to here, and now talk about the moment. We're starting to get into deep waters where I feel genuinely that I need to bring someone into that seat because this is more now academic than it is entrepreneurial. And the errors that can be made as we go deeper into the water and as this business becomes serious business, it's there, it's heading in the right direction. It now becomes very academic. We just recruited a financial accountant. George was sitting in that seat, much like I'm sitting in the marketing seat. George is sitting in the finance seat. He's elite in finance, but he's not a financial accountant. So now we've got Will Fernando, who's joined the organization, and Will is academic, in this space. So he's able to take the core of what we do and smooth it out and refine it and make it really neat and professional. And so talking about, reflecting back on the moment, I think I'm getting to a point where the marketing side of things is becoming really academic. And while I love brand, mission, vision, it's what my purpose is in getting out of bed. I've got to now move to the CEO role and a permanent and put some talent in there because they're going to do a hell of a lot better job than I can.
You're going from the star player to the coach, right? Like it's
Sort of. I still want to suit up and play, yeah?
yeah.
I don't want to control, but I want to contribute. And I know the moment. My moment is almost sunsetting on me a little bit in that marketing seat because I'm not trained. I'm not educated in the 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 academic or the academia of marketing, right? And so as this organization gets big, we're serving over 1,000 businesses today. We're about to open location 4, 5, 6, and 7. I think I need someone that's elite. I need our own Michael Jordan in that role, in that department. And so I recognize that moment, and I'll continue to shoulder it because that's what entrepreneurs do. But I'm not God's gift to marketing. I'm not God's gift to this world. I know my position, and I'm totally comfortable in it. No ego, just get shit done.
What's your advice then for someone who transitions? Like they're going from that transition where, I said it before, right? Like I know what got me to where I am because of the hustle that I put in, and I can lean on that. Mm-hmm. But what's your advice to someone who is potentially at that point where they've hustled, they've got their business to this point where it now needs to become bigger than just their hustle?
Yeah.
And how do you make that transition to understanding how to hire, to starting to give that trust and responsibility to that person? Is there a transitional period there where you have to still take the lead and then hand the baton? Do you give them the responsibility straight away? Like, how as a leader, do you attack that situation?
Yeah, so I'd love to pick up where you left off, but I actually want to shift gears on you a little bit. I sold Perlu because it became too big for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the business became and is a juggernaut. There was so much demand for the product, but I didn't have systems, processes, inventory, supply chain management, all of the really important things in order to compete at that level. Yeah, when you're supplying Petco, PetSmart, Amazon, SkyMall, Frontgate, and they penalize you for being late, I outsourced my logistics business. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like supply chain demand, having enough inventory on hand to support really came down to cash flow. And the business was just accelerating at such a rapid rate that my reality was, this is too big for me. This is too big for me. I need to either take on debt, I need to get an investor, but then I potentially am shifting the problem because I'm not experienced. I'm not experienced in supply chain management. I've got a product that's going gangbusters, great problem, but the word problem still exists, yeah? So it's not great, it's great problem. And so one of the reasons why I sold the company was I felt that it was way too big for me. I had too much on my shoulders. I couldn't scale as fast as I wanted because I was limited by how much cash I had on hand, which was okay, but I still didn't have enough money to eat and put a roof over my head. And there was times where I dance with the devil a little bit in terms of bullshitting some people. Yeah, checks in the mail. I'm like, fuck, I gotta get the receivable in because the mail. It's like I've lied, and that's not a great feeling. I never want to ever do that again. But I think in a very roundabout way, I've kind of answered your question, which was I recognized in the moment that in order for Perlu to continue to grow at the rate that it needs to grow at, it needs to be under someone else's hands. And so I was very lucky enough to plug it into one of the best companies in the sector or industry that was involved in multiple sectors, and they wanted to build a pet waste management division, and Perlu was the sort of cornerstone for that SBU, strategic business unit. And then I proudly joined the company post-acquisition because I still loved what I was doing. I just wasn't able to feed the baby everything that it needed. And so I think, Kyle, in summary, failure is very humbling. Yeah. So my failure was I was failing forward in a very positive way because the product was going bananas, but I was still failing. I was out of my depth. It was way more sophisticated than me, and I needed to check my ego and say, "You're not the fucking man, right? This thing's bigger than you. Know your position. And I exited. Now, I exited really successfully. It wasn't a fire sale, yeah? I did exceptionally well for myself, and a lot of those, actually all of those funds have powered Creative Cubes to where it is today. But I think the point is that ego fucks a lot of things up, yeah? And I think there's a lot of people that think their shit don't stink. My shit stinks real bad, yeah? On the surface, I'm very graceful and very gracious. Beneath the surface, I'm paddling like a motherfucker, like a duck, yeah? And a lot of people don't see beneath the surface. In fact, I sent Will an Instagram image that showed up on my feed the other day, which was, it was a tapestry image. And it was like, on the surface, look how beautiful this tapestry is. But then you go behind it and it's fucking messed up. I'm not sure if this is appropriate, but I'll just show you so you've got a visual on it. I said to him, you know, the front looks gracious, but the back is all messed up. A lot of people don't see the back. A lot of people don't see beneath the surface. A lot of people just look at the superficial things. And I think that humility is very, very, very important ingredient to success. And I'm comfortable in my own skin because I've got a loving family. It doesn't matter what happens on the court. I go home to a loving wife who actually thinks my shit don't stink, but will absolutely tell me if it does.
Yeah.
You know, and I've got my kids that look up to me, and I'm always trying to lead by example. What
does that mean to you? What is lead? Because like that's something that honestly, if I was to sum you up in a sentence, it's lead by example.
Totally. Yeah. Lead by example. So my kids, Maddie, who's 9, who's actually on a shoot today. She won a big contract with Chemist Warehouse. So you'll see her on some television ads. And that's all driven by her. I'm not here trying to be a, what's it called? Star child parent. I couldn't care less about that. I care about her I care about trying to support what she wants to do, not tell her what to do. But my daughters and I, Maddie 9, Harper 6, we talk about leadership versus being a boss. And they understand that a leader is in there rolling his sleeves up with the people, and a boss is dictating to the people. In fact, I've got a friend who was coming to town, and he's the CEO of an organization, but he's not the owner. And so I'm the CEO of an organization and a co-founder. Yeah. This specific individual was a CEO, but actually, so I said to my daughters by mistake, I said, "Oh yeah, Bill, yeah, he's the boss of this company." And my kids are like, "Ugh." I could think of no worse place to be. I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, and I realized like they're absorbing everything I'm saying. They're like, "Well, Dad, you told us it's better to be a leader than a boss." And like, we don't have these conversations all night, every night. This is like a throwaway conversation. When someone introduced me, "Oh, this is the boss of Creative Cubes," I'm like, no. I'm your teammate, or I'm the leader. I'm not the boss, yeah? And I think my kids overheard that and then asked the question, and I gave them that throwaway line maybe 2 years ago. And then coincidentally, 2 years later, it comes up, and they're like, "Ugh, I'd never want to be a boss. I want to be a leader. I want to be with the people. I want to be helping the people. I want to lead by example." And so what does lead by example? It's, for me, it's where the rubber hits the road. It's where the bullshit kind of stops and the real talk walks, yeah? And so I want to, if all else fails, I want to be a guy that's recognized that he backed himself and he won or he lost, but he backed himself. And when push came to shove, he never went dirty. He never went rogue. He accepted the outcome, or accepted the failure, or accepted whatever the situation was, for good or for bad, but didn't turn feral, and maintained, values and virtues and integrity, and accepts defeat. That doesn't happen often, quite honestly, but it happens. I'm not immune. Yeah. So just constantly being out there, out in front, being around the people. I don't like pressing buttons from an ivory tower. I prefer to be on the street, listening and feeling the heartbeat, living the energy. And the reality is, man, like I don't feel like I'm here for me. I feel like I'm here as an entrepreneur for the people. And I've been there. I've got the war wounds. I saw your hoodie before. It spoke to me. Scars build thrones. Yeah, that's real. Yeah, that's a really strong message. I love it, and that's reality. And you should proudly wear those scars, those battle scar, battle tested scars, with pride. And if you think, or you have a perception that all the successful guys just kind of walk up, or have late lunches, get out of bed late, have late lunches, and answer a few emails and collect some checks, like unfortunately that's like the furthest thing from what I do. I'm up at 4 in the morning. It used to be 4:44. It's now 4:04. I'm in the gym at 5. Train my ass off at Orange Theory, which I'm wildly passionate about. Um, get it done within that hour. Upstairs to Creative Cubes, have a shower, and I'm at my desk hustling at 6:30, clearing my inbox, trying to get shit done by sort of like 9:30, 10, and then just be available for people that want to communicate with you between sort of 10 and 6. Meetings, be around my team, always asking my team, is there anything you need? Is there anything I can help you with? Anything you need support on? And just being there as a leader and a support system for them. And then backing it up 5 days a week, 4.33 weeks a month, 365, like just all in. And if I miss a day, I'm out of sync of the process. It throws a lot of other things out the window. So I'm unconditionally committed to the mission. And in order for me to be able to execute that mission with success, I can't walk away in 12 months' time and go, it failed because I didn't give it my everything. It failed because of COVID. It failed because something out of my ability. But while it's in my ability, I'm like leave no stone unturned. And it's tough, man, because I got kids, so I got to juggle them. I've got a wife, I've got family, and all those things come with their own dynamics and their own problems and their own everythings. I've got to be equally, if not more, committed to that side of the gym as I am this side of the gym. So it's tough, but fuck, I wouldn't want it any other way. Yeah.
I think it talks to a great entrepreneur really does fall in love with the process. And I mean, that's not just an entrepreneur. That's kind of anything you do in life, like being and I'm not a father yet, but this is something I look forward to massively. Like I just can't wait for it to happen because I know that I'll fall in love with that process too. And it's like, I think that's a really big message as a leader. We have to have outcomes, because that's what creates direction for us. But falling in love with the process with anything you do is what makes you great at it. And like you said before, understanding that in any moment, as long as you're doing what you need to do and you're putting your best foot forward in the process of anything, that and that's the way I think about it, right? It's like, for me, it's like, I just want to get to, when I'm 60 or 70, I just want to be able to maybe tell my grandkids that hey, I did everything I fucking could.
Yep.
In everything that I do. Sometimes I sucked. Sometimes I wasn't good. Sometimes I didn't get up when I needed to get up. Sometimes I didn't put 100% into that workout, but I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I did my best. And
Yeah.
a lot of it is and you get caught up a lot of the times as well, right? We can't shy away from that. Myself is when you're in the business and you really care about it, you can get so caught up in that outcome. And then a lot of what grounds me is just getting back to, okay, you got to remember you are choosing to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and you actually love this.
Mm-hmm.
And fall in love with that process, because that's what allows you to both lead the people around you, but be that energy that other people need. And that's success in a nutshell. At the end of the day, success is transfer of energy. People deem, people will pay you, people will want to be around you, people will want to work for you. if that energy and the energy you give to them is through the roof.
Agree. There's a couple of really important double clicks there. One is if it doesn't get you out of bed in the morning, you're not doing what you love. Yeah. The process has to be recognized, but the purpose is why you're there. So, with love and respect, I don't love process at all, but George, Gav, Sade, they thrive in a process. So in order to help them succeed, we have to create process. For me, I'm a brand mission vision guy. And a lot of that, like, Will and I went out for dinner last night, and we talked a lot about the finances and stuff. I'm like, mate, like, my gut says this. And he's like, okay, Toby, but like, how does that work on a spreadsheet? Yeah, I need that. I get out of bed because I have purpose. Process helps scale and helps others live in not a chaotic environment. Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, as a business founder, as an owner, as someone that's just got an idea, you're scattered and all over the place. Yeah. And over time, and with a few gray hairs, that becomes refined, and you can really just nail with 2 sentences, an icon, what everything is. But a lot of people can't live in that world, and a lot of people thrive. Like, I remember becoming a father, something definitely you'll look forward to, or something you'll recognize and appreciate, is when Maddie was born. Man, I wasn't trained in how to be a father. In fact, I didn't even have a father. My dad passed when I was young. And so I made a commitment that I wanted to give her everything that I didn't have. And where she thrived was she'd wake up at 6 in the morning. This is when she was a real baby. Wakes up at 6 in the morning, plays and does some stuff in the morning, and then goes back to sleep at 11, sleeps till 1 or 2, then wakes up and does something else. And then slowly, she's just in this pattern. Yeah. And while Maddie stayed in that pattern, i.e., hey, let's go to New York for the week. Okay, but we've got to fly during this time because that's when Maddie will be asleep. We don't want her all over the place. So long as we recognized how she thrived, life's pretty good, man. It's like she couldn't talk. All she did was eat, sleep, and poop. And so long as I kept her in that routine, I didn't have a problematic child. You take the child out and you doesn't get to sleep on time, or you're out and about and you're not focused on what their needs are and how they thrive, you end up with a chaotic home. Repeated that with Harper, and then it really just dawned on me, like, fuck, this is an ingredient for success in business. If everyone on my team knows where the ball is at certain times of the day, then, and they have a process when the ball comes their way, then they're going to succeed as well. So you have to love it. It doesn't have to be your purpose, but you have to love it, and it's an integral piece in order to keep the boat above the water. Yeah, because without it, you're in flux and chaos, and therefore anyone that's on your team is feeling the same way. And because they're not an owner, and because they not necessarily have that upside, other than a great environment and a great income, their attention and energy can be bought by somebody else. And so that purpose, that process, we have the happiness team here, that happiness and joy from what we're doing because of the mission and the vision is really, really important. But if that mission and vision is just in total chaos all day, every day, you're going to burn people out. And because they're not invested in the business like you are, it is a salary for them. It's going to be short-lived. So for me, I was happy to give up equity. I was happy to create process and help make sure that they were happy in their roles and they're thriving. And then very frequently, Sade and I will throw in, education and courses and mindfulness stuff that helps elevate them. And I said yes, like we have a program here we run once a month called Inside the Cube, which is basically all teams, all hands town hall. and we just go to a location, book out the event space, and gather. And last night at Inside, we're wanting to do a course with the wider team. Leadership team's just done it. It's phenomenal. Sabers and saboteurs, it's patient quotient, PQ, and IQ, PQ versus IQ. And we came out of it like wow. And so I turned to the team and said, guys, I just want to make you better than you were the day you joined us. And I want to make you better today than you were yesterday, but not as good as I'm going to make you tomorrow, right? So please just lean in and just trust that it's going to help you. And if one day you decide that you're going to leave the organization, I want to make sure that you leave better than they came in. And everyone's about it. Everyone's about it. It's about, leaning in that culture. They feel like they belong. And if they don't, I make massive effort to make sure they do feel like they belong. And that's not just like rubbing their shoulders and telling them great things, but actually giving them a level of ownership in their role and their position in the organization. And my role, even though it's quite interesting, the org chart is CEO down. I've actually turned our org chart upside down. I go, my people are the most important things to me. And I'm going to sit down here in the weeds and in the sewage, and I'm just going to help lift you up all the way. Not talk down to you, but actually look up and talk up to you, yeah? And I think that psychology, although I am 100% genuine and authentic in my position towards that psychology is really, really powerful in scaling and having an organization thrive.
There is so much there. I think if you're a business owner and you are wanting to scale your business and become a leader, this episode is absolutely everything you need to know. And just the lessons from experience. This isn't just talking about the concepts and the kind of academia. It's the experience and the wisdom that comes from scaling a business. So we're going to wrap it up because I know you've got a big day.
Yeah, I do. But so grateful to be here. And I do, like, there's a lot of things moving, but I on reflection, I don't need a pat on the back. I'm all in on this. Yeah. Even though once I leave this room, I've got to go fucking flat chat, red line for the rest of the day. But, I appreciate you. I really value the relationship we have. I really value the fleeting moments that we get when we pass each other, whether it's in the kitchen or sitting out in a breakout space. I think you're doing some amazing stuff. I love what you're doing on Instagram. I find it very motivational and quite inspiring. And so while the audience may feel like this is a one-way street, me coming in to provide inspiration for you, the reality is I'm here because I'm inspired by you. I'm here because I look up to you. I think what you're doing is fantastic. I'm glad that our paths have crossed. I'm confident that there'll be more for us to do together in the future. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if I have a split second for that to be able to be achieved, but I'm glad you're here. I think we're better as a community because you're here, and your presence is highly valued by me. So thank you for the opportunity, and keep going, man.
Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate
All
you.
right, thank you.
Good luck today.
Thank
Crush.
you so much. Yes.
All right, guys, wrapping it up. Amazing episode. I hope you had the notebook out, and we will see you next week.